Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited about our first special guest tonight. You may remember him from his fluoro suit-wearing days on Don't Forget Your Toothbrush, or his work as an angry young man in the Doug Anthony All-Stars. He has toured the world performing. He's produced television, stand-up comedy, everything. He is amazing. If you still don't know who I'm talking about, have a look at this.
Toothbrush.
Oh, shit, I forgot to bring it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome world-acclaimed comedian, writer, producer, Mr. Tim Ferguson!
Hey, Bob.
Hi.
Let us come proud.
We've got some really high audience members up there.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for coming in, Tim. It's great to have you here.
Oh, thanks for having me here, Rob. Great show.
I found out we have
Yes.
something in common. We're both country boys at heart from New South Wales.
Well, you're from Dubbo.
Yes, and you're from Blaney.
Yeah, yeah. Two towns you won't have heard of because they've got credibility.
But you got out there when you were quite young. You were only there for...
Yeah, only about 8 years, and then we got whisked to Canberra.
Now, what's one thing you can remember about your time in Blaney?
Well, I can't talk about that thing. But
Hey, hey, it's the country, man, you know, where the men are men and the cousins are nervous. That's okay.
yeah,
That's all right.
and it's cold. It's bloody cold, and
Yeah.
you know, occasionally, you know, that scene in Star Wars where Luke, you know, has to sleep inside the town. You know, one night with a cow. When you're cold, you just get out the lightsaber. But it was freezing. It was so cold. Blaney is the place you go to when you're not cold enough. Just keep driving upwards.
So those people who are enjoying their time in Melbourne because it's too sunny, they can go down to Blaney.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking. Okay, you talked about Star Wars. I want to bring it up. I called you a nerd, but you're a self-proclaimed geek.
Yeah.
You're a massive geek.
A geek is a nerd who gets laid. And the nerds in the audience love this.
They're going to hunt you down afterward. Yeah, we're going to throw obscure trivia at you.
What is your trick? How do you do it?
Teach me. I will be your Padawan. That's just for us. Everyone else is going, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
Now, is it true that you, on the internet, there's many, you know, false things, but you have Australia's largest action figure collection of Star Wars figures, right?
I think so.
Yeah? What's your prized Star Wars action figure collector?
Oh, it is it's an Imperial cruiser.
Yeah?
Big thing. And it lights up and it makes noises and it's got a handle and it's the whole thing, and the thing's flapped down and you can put Darth in it and he can drive around. You can make the voices. Are you warm enough? Chicken or beef?
So you've actually taken it out of its case?
Oh, I've got a few of them, and yeah, I've got one that I have out of its case.
So you have one you prepared earlier?
Oh yeah, it's sort of it's one of the few that I have out at the moment.
Now you've lived the geek dream.
Geek dream.
But you've actually hosted a live Doctor Who show where you actually got to meet some of the doctors and interview them. Is that right?
Oh yeah, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, you're a Doctor Who man.
I wanted to talk to you about that. How was actually doing that show? You took it, you know. Tell me, what was it like?
It was great. They were total pros. Katie Manning, who played Jo.
Yeah, Jo Grant.
You know, who always said, Doctor, she was playing that role. You know, but Doctor. And it was just great. These guys, they cruise around, they're treated like gods. We went to New Zealand and they let us into the Weta studios, which is where they make...
Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Yeah, hobbits and stuff. And so I was there going, I'm with the doctors.
Now, because you've performed like all around the world, you've done Edinburgh Fringe, you've done stuff like this. But how do Doctor Who nerds compare to regular audiences? They'd have to be one of your toughest crowds that you've had.
Oh, they're very tough because they all turn up with their own preconceptions about what should happen. They all sit there thinking that they could, do it better because they've got their own questions to ask the doctor. How long was the scarf? All that sort of useless stuff. But they were okay. They were lammies. You do a couple of gags, and if you ever get lost, you say, and there's Doctor Who! And they go,
we do it so well. Now, you started off with the Doug Anthony All-Stars, which started out as a busking group. Now, how did busking help you when you moved to TV?
Well, when you're on the street, Rob, you've got people who can just walk past. And so you've got to do something. So we figured, well, we just do things.
Yeah.
Sometimes in unison, sometimes, we would set fire to Paul. It was a regular thing. We'd put him in a garbage bin, fill it with newspaper, set fire, and the flames would come up, and he would scream in genuine pain, and people would talk about it and demand it next week. Fire, 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 fire.
So occupational health and safety did not exist in the 80s, obviously.
No. I used to grab people's children and would put them into their task and the guitar case and say, if you want to see this child again, you better start putting gold coins in here. Now, if you did it these days, the Herald Sun would write something about it.
Now, you're now teaching comedy and teaching young aspiring comedian and comedian writers. What's one thing that you would want to tell young comedians out there, young comedic writers? What would you tell them?
Just do something else. Do something else. Everybody...
Like plumbing, or...?
Yeah, plumbing. Have a second string to your bow, but also, do something that nobody else is doing. Everybody at the moment is a guy called Craig who wears a flannelette shirt, so everybody knows he came from Broady, which he didn't, and he talks about, what's wrong with chicks? And girls come out and say, what's wrong with guys? Everybody's talking about the same thing. Just find something else, something bigger to talk about.
Excellent. That's a good thing. And you can read more about it in Tim's book right here, The Cheeky Monkey. All information about if you want to be in the comedy industry. It's the best thing to read. So you should pick up a copy. Do yourself a favour. I feel so Molly Meldrum.
That's
right
me on the cover.
That's you?
I was just a kid with a dream.
They breed them rough out in the country. Now we've got a viewer comment. Let's have a look at the viewer comment, which is, it says, can we see Aaron's sexiest pose? I'm really lonely. Okay. We might get that later on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, an absolute pleasure. Big round of applause for Tim Ferguson right here.
Thanks, Rob.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages, but before you go, have a look at what's still coming up. Huge show. Have a look at this, and we'll be back at Live on Bowen. Don't go anywhere.
Jason Chatfield. The very funny Heyman Kent. Plus live music from the Black Chords. You're watching Live on Bowen.